What's up, Renegades? I am Lupine Fiasco. This is your daily FaB content, and today's game is going to be against Prism, Awakener of Soul. For anyone who's new to the channel, welcome. What we do here is watch replays of games that I have recorded from Talishar. I'm going to walk through my lines of play and my thought process for how I would play out a turn cycle now. I compare that to what I did when this game was recorded days or weeks ago to look for opportunities where I can improve, either on the line I took, or if I saw something back then that I didn't see now, I want to reinforce that behavior. The reason to do this is to tighten up our play, optimize our play in practice where winning and losing doesn't matter, and take that optimization into paper events like ProQuests, Road to Nationals, Callings, or even weekly armories where we have the opportunity to win shiny cardboard. That all said, let's jump into our sideboard and our game plan. This is our harmonized Kadachi list. The deck link is available in the video description below if you would like to check it out for yourself or try it on Talishar. While you are in the video description, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so. It's the best way to support me and make sure free FaB content shows up in your video feed 5 days a week. And if you have any questions or feedback for me, you can leave that in the comments section. Our game plan into Prism is going to be to blow her up. She starts with 32 life. Nothing she does is particularly threatening to us. She can have very high value turn cycles between attacking with 2 heralds and making an angel, or blocking for 6 and making an angel. That, in theory, is a 20-point turn cycle. It's very good. FaB cannot beat that. But Prism isn't going to do that every turn. And the turns that she takes off are turns that we can utilize our natural health advantage and our high damage turn cycles to put Prism on the back foot and keep her there. Once she starts to fall behind, it is very difficult for her to stop the spiral, and we can use Emberblade, Pouncing Lynx, and a big Art of War or Spreading Flames turn to grab the win. Let's take a look at our sideboard. I just said we are boarding out our harmonized Kadachis, boarding in our Emberblade, Mask of the Pouncing Lynx, and Fiendal Spring Tunic. We are going to take advantage of our health lead and our aggressive nature by bringing in our Spring Tunic, getting our extra value once every 3 turns, and opting to give up the 3 life that Furnace would give us. For this game, we are going to board out 2 copies of Enlightened Strike and board in 2 copies of Command and Conquer. I have since revised this list such that double strikes come out in this matchup. We are also playing Soaring Strike instead of Rise from the Ashes, so we can start comparing the 2 now. Anytime that we would draw Rise from the Ashes, imagine what the hand would look like if it was Soaring Strike, and see if the turn cycle is better or worse. Command and Conquer here is mostly a popper. It can be good on offense. Prism plays at least 60 reactions and often 9, Sink Below, Fate Foreseen, and Soul Shield. Catching any of those in her arsenal is very good, especially Soul Shield. But our turn cycles are good enough without needing that additional value. Command and Conquer really just exists as a popper. That's the game plan and the sideboard. Let's jump into it and see how all of this works out for us. Jumping into the game here, we have lost the die roll. Prism has chosen to go first, activating Halo of Illumination to likely put a Herald into her banish, triggering Prism and letting her get an Angel on turn 0. Instead, we see Angelic Descent as the card going into banish. So some lost value from the Halo But it also looks like we are playing against a very Herald-centric list. Most Prisms that I have run into are on an Auras game plan that pivots into this Luminaris just to combat aggro, as Auras really has no game into FaB. I haven't seen a Herald-centric list on Talishar, so this may be a harder game than I was expecting, as Heralds are more likely to get those big 16 to 20 point turn cycles. As it is, Prism playing out a passing Mirage and passing the turn to us. Spectra is not a problem for FaB to deal with in any game state where we are ending our chain with a Phoenix Flame. We can throw that Phoenix Flame at the Spectra aura, popping it easily while still pushing a lot of damage on our turn. In the event that we do have a finisher, we would likely leave the Spectra alone, throwing a Lava Burst or Assault the Wound at Prism instead. Certain auras are ones we would want to put a little more attention into destroying, but Passing Mirage is not one that I care about. We have 2 Paupers in our deck. This is not something that we really need to interact with. Our hand here is looking pretty basic. We have our Head Jab, our Blue, and a Finisher. So we can attack with Brand, Emberblade, Phoenix Flame, and Snatch, ending the turn by arsenaling either an Art of War, or if Snatch draws us a better card to stick into our arsenal, we can arsenal that instead. We do need to break through this wave of reality and the spectral shield it leaves behind, but we can see how Prism wants to block any of these attacks. Choosing not to block this Brand with Cinderclaw, we're firing off the Art of War, which I don't believe is correct, and I would really like to know what made me think that this was a good idea, because we would have been better served by sticking it in our arsenal and setting up a 5-card Art of War hand. This just seems very aggressive to me, and I'm not sure why I felt the need to be so aggressive. The hand we draw into is fine. The issue with it is that we cannot attack with our Emberblade, our Brand, and our Command and Conquer. What we can do with this hand is attack with Emberblade, pitch Brand with Cinderclaw to pick up and play our Phoenix Flame, then end with Command and Conquer. Aside from this 4 damage that Prism is already taking, that is an additional 12 points of damage, 3 from the Emberblade, 2 from the Phoenix Flame, and 7 from the Command and Conquer. Command and Conquer forces some sort of reaction out of Prism if she wants to protect the arsenal. Notably, she cannot play a defense reaction to Command and Conquer, and she cannot block Command and Conquer with just 2 cards, as Art of War pushes it up to 7 power. That is the line that I like taking here. Emberblade, Phoenix Flame, Command and Conquer. We could also attack with the Emberblade, the Blue Brand, a Phoenix Flame, and Arsenal Command and Conquer. But that is an 8-point line compared to 12. There's no disruption tied to it, and I don't really like having this Command and Conquer in Arsenal. It's very expensive. I'm not trying to destroy Prism's arsenal as part of my game plan. I am trying to deal a lot of damage very quickly, and getting Command and Conquer stuck in the arsenal, which leaves us open to not drawing enough blues to play it, or if we have 2 finishers in our hand, we need to use our Snapdragon Scalers if we want to play both of them in the same turn cycle, because this Command and Conquer is clogging up our arsenal. There's just a lot of bad situations that can arise from arsenaling this Command and Conquer, so I like playing out the hand here, not arsenaling anything, but still dealing 16 points of damage and threatening Prism's arsenal. If we wanted to get really cheeky here, we could break Mask of the Pouncing Lynx and use our Snapdragon Scalers. That is a line that I think is pretty good. It plays poorly around an Arclight Sentinel, But at this point in playing against Prisms, I am not putting them on Arclight Sentinel. It's very expensive to play, it doesn't block, and FaB goes wide enough often enough that it isn't like Prism is using the Arclight Sentinel to turn off one very pivotal turn, say from a Guardian with a Zealous Belting or a Brute with Pulping. Here, Ninja just goes wide. So I'm not worried about Arclight Sentinel in this situation. This Phoenix Flame here has the Shuko trigger, so Spectral Shield is not going to prevent any of the damage. Having used our Shuko trigger, anything that we find off of Pouncing Links would max out at 6 damage. I would like to get a little more value out of my Pouncing Links, so not looking to break it. Instead, we just put Prism down to 3 cards. She uses her chest piece to cycle a red out of her hand and passes it back to us. So looking very good there. With a hand of all reds, this Command & Conquer in Arsenal is looking pretty bad. We have a few lines that we can take here, but they all start with our Ronin Renegade followed by our Rising Resentment. If the Rising Resentment hits, we can banish our Breaking Point to reduce its cost to 0 when we play it this turn, then pitch our Lava Burst to FaB to get our Phoenix Flame back from discard and onto the board to turn on the Rupture from Breaking Point. If this Rising Resentment gets blocked, we just reverse which finisher we're pitching and which we're playing. We can pitch our Breaking Point to FaB to pick up and play our Phoenix Flame, then play our Lava Burst for 6 points of damage. There's no disruption tied to that, but a 0-cost 6 is very good. So we play our Ronin, Ronin connects. We are not going to break Pouncing Links here. Let's see if the Rising Resentment connects as well. Prism potentially looking to set up a big 5-card hand, not blocking Rising Resentment either. So we will banish our Breaking Point for the cost reduction. Still not going to break our Pouncing Links this turn. And we do pitch our Lava Burst to pick up and play the Phoenix Flame. Phoenix Flame connects, not going to break Pouncing Links. We don't need to use Snapdragons this early. Instead, sending the Breaking Point that is going to threaten Prism's arsenal. Prism taking the damage, we snipe an Angelic Wrath from Arsenal and push a lot of damage this turn. Prism attacking just with blue Herald of Ravages. This is a total of 6 damage and a Figment from Prism's deck onto the board. I am absolutely fine to take this damage. Prism pitching to Luminaris to give the Angel go again. Excuse me, the Herald. Activating Prism's ability to flip the Figment into an Angel and attacking with the Angel. Prism here does not need to activate Soraya. The Ponder from the Figment is going to give Prism her card for Arsenal. So we take our 4 points of damage, go down to 30, and the turn comes back to us. We have our Command & Conquer in Arsenal, Rise from the Ashes in hand, and a blue to pay for this turn. Here I like playing Rise from the Ashes. Picking up our Phoenix Flame, we can lead with a Enlighten Strike, bottoming Brand with Cinderclaw, and drawing a card that lets us use our Snapdragon Scalers to give the Enlighten Strike go again. We're hoping to draw into a 0-cost Draconic starter. If we do, I will follow the E-Strike with that starter. The starter attacks for 6 due to a Rise from the Ashes. We follow that with the Phoenix Flame for 1, Emberblade for 3, and Command and Conquer for 6, using our Tunic to pay the extra resource to play the Command and Conquer. We can also work our pouncing links into that turn cycle if we want to, if it turns out that playing Command and Conquer is not the thing to do. Notably, we will not have our Snapdragons for the finisher. So let's start with Brand with Cinderclaw. See how this turn cycle comes out. Probably going to bottom the Rise from the Ashes to the Enlightened Strike, because we will not need the Rise from the Ashes to pick up our Phoenix Flame. Giving go again here is not something that I considered, but is something I should have touched on. We are playing around Arclight Sentinel, and I had said many prisms don't run it. It isn't necessarily something we do need to play around, but it's something we can play around, and playing around Arclight Sentinel, when possible, is a good idea. So giving Enlightened Strike quote-unquote natural go again is a way to play around the potential of getting blown out by ALS. It also gives us the interesting opportunity to use our pouncing links on this Phoenix Flame if the Phoenix Flame connects, because we saved our Snapdragons from not needing to use it on Enlightened Strike. So this is an interesting play, and I think the line I've taken here in the past is better than the line I crafted for this video. So good job, past me, correctly playing around ALS where I didn't. Prism losing the card in Arsenal again, going to 4 life. The game is just over at this point. We are going to throw Ronin Renegade, Lava Bane Loyalty, Emberblade, and a Phoenix Flame. Prism would need to block the 2 head jabs and the Phoenix Flame in order to prevent the mask trigger. She could use her 4th card from hand to block our Emberblade, but Salt the Wound would get the Tiger Stripe Shuko trigger, going up to 3 damage, and would just kill Prism. We've broken our pouncing links, we've found a Lava Burst, and Prism packs it in. So I wanted to show this game because this is what I'm expecting a lot of our Prism games to look like. There certainly are good Prisms in the world. Prisms did very well in Vegas, in the calling where I played. 1 or 2 I know made top 32, so at least cashed out. But overall, I think Prism has yet to be figured out. A lot of people are still experimenting with her, and a lot of our games are going to look like this, where we kind of just outvalue her at all points in the game and end with 30 life and all of our armor remaining except for Mask, which we broke to help wrap up the game. If you have good Prisms in your local scene that challenge you, that put you on the back foot, that take games off of you, certainly let me know in the comments. Tell me what they are doing, because I fully expect to sit down against a Prism at some point and just get abused, because I didn't know what to expect. But hopefully, in your area, all of your Prism games are looking like this, and you get free wins. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. I hope this was informative in some way. If it was, please like this video. Hit that like button for me. If you have any questions or feedback, you can leave them in the comments, as well as your stories about losing to very good Prisms. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe to the channel, as it would help me out very much. I will see all of you back here tomorrow for more FaB gameplay. And until then, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Take care.